What is Hinduism? Oftentimes that we are attracted to other religions or we have questions about that, and it's helpful for us to get clarification on what these various religions are about. Living in the West, we have our own particular ideas about Hinduism, but sometimes it can be helpful to reach across the world to people who have lived in a country where Hinduism has been the predominant religion, and that's exactly what we're doing today with this broadcast. I'm Kerry Decker, a pastor and Reasonable Faith chapter director. We'll be right back. My guest today is Alan John. He is coming to us all the way from Salem, India. And so we hope that our connection will stay stable all throughout this. Welcome to the program, Alan.
Hey, Kerry, glad to be with you.
It's good to see you. Hey, tell me, for the sake of those, because I didn't know, where is Salem, India?
Salem is the southernmost part of India.
Okay.
It's a district in the state called Tamil Nadu. It's adjacent to Kerala.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
Yeah,
kind of in the central southern part of India. Is that correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
correct.
And have you lived your whole life in Salem?
No, I'm a student here. Uh, my native is Kerala.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And so you're a medical student, correct?
that's right. That's right.
Great, great. How much further do you have to go in your studies?
I have about 2.5 years to complete my undergraduation.
Oh, great. Well, God bless you on that.
Thank you. Yeah,
I suspect that you're pretty familiar with Hinduism, correct?
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
about 95% of Hindus of the world live in India.
Wow. Wow. Tell us a little bit about what is Hinduism.
Yeah, well, Hinduism, it's a combination of various traditions, cultures, and philosophies that merged with thousands of years, starting with the Aryan invasion. Because of the wide range of traditions and ideas covered by the term Hinduism,
Mm.
arriving at a comprehensive definition is pretty difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my
Uh,
understanding, and help me with this because I might be wrong. But
yeah,
in some versions of Hinduism, there are hundreds and thousands of gods. Is that correct?
that's right, about 330 million pantheon of deities.
Well, but then there are other versions of Hinduism where where they believe that all is God. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
so you were saying that it's pretty difficult to come up with a definition of
That's
Hinduism.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and often Hindus prefer to call it as a way of life
Hmm.
because Hinduism embraces many religious ideas and
Okay.
it's a family of religions. And according to them, uh, it's unlike Christianity and Judaism, it is not an organized religion.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So do people just kind of follow their own path in Hinduism? Is that how it works?
Um, yeah, but they have sacred texts like Vedas,
Okay.
Upanishads, from which they draw um, governing that those texts contain governing rules about rituals, worship, pilgrimage, and even daily activities.
Okay. So the Vedas have instructions essentially about rituals and daily activities and guiding principles for the faith and all. But I suspect
That's right.
that the Vedas that the collection of the Vedas has been, I mean, unlike maybe the Christian New Testament, that it probably is just a collection of teachings from all over. Help me to understand a little bit better about the Vedas themselves.
Yeah, these Vedas are considered as revelations to the sages.
Hmm.
It has been written by a variety of sages. Even we can't trace the authors. It's very old. Unlike New Testament or even the Old Testament, uh, textual criticism is very difficult to be done in Hinduism.
Yeah, okay. So we really don't know necessarily, and here again, forgive my ignorance, but we really
Yeah,
don't know in Hinduism if the writings that have come down to us are the
yeah,
original writings that these sages had. Is that correct?
that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
so tell me a little bit about if you had to come up with a list, and like you said, is that Hinduism is such a broad range of philosophies and way of life and worldview that but if you had to come up with maybe four or five of the main beliefs of Hinduism, what would that be?
Yeah, before I go to the main beliefs, I would
Yeah,
like to add a footnote
yeah.
to the first discussion we had. Hinduism has no particular historical founder, unlike Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, and all. As I mentioned earlier, its authority doesn't rest on a particular originator. Rather, it's upon a large body of sacred texts that provide Hindus with these rules and all. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has no historical founder. It's just really more of a philosophy of life. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Philosophies, rich cultures, traditions of various places that merge together.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah,
How about some of the
yeah,
beliefs? Share with me some of
yeah,
the beliefs of Hinduism.
yeah. Generally, Hindus are considered as polytheist, as you started off with 330 million pantheon of deities.
Hmm.
But a closer look tells us that at least some of them are henotheist. Let me define that term for you. Henotheism, it is the worship of a single god,
Okay.
usually by a family or a tribe, while not denying the existence of other deities.
Hmm.
Throughout their life, they will be worshipping a particular god. For example, some would be followers or believers of Krishna
Hmm.
or Shiva, but and there are particular temples as well for individual deities. They
Okay.
will be following these deities while not denying the existence of other deities. That's henotheism.
Okay. So
And the
so
ultimate
I'm sorry.
ultimate
Go
reality of
ahead.
Hinduism is known as Brahman. It's an impersonal absolute.
Mm.
That is the ultimate reality. It is a cosmic spirit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So in within Hinduism, people there's this pantheon of what is 330
they,
million
yeah,
gods, and so different
yeah,
people in India focus on one of those, Krishna or
right.
Vishnu
Shiva.
or yeah,
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 yeah, that's right.
yeah.
And Hindus can choose to be polytheistic,
Hmm.
pantheistic, henotheistic, monistic, or agnostic, atheist, or humanist. Anything is compatible with Hinduism. That's something unique to Hinduism.
Yeah. All righty. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
whatever you want to believe is okay. Is that correct?
yeah, okay, yeah. You have the privilege, or uh, you are free to believe whatever.
Yeah, but you're also, if I heard you
Yeah,
correctly, is that behind this kind of singling out one God, that there is an idea that there is an impersonal spirit, Brahman
yeah,
behind,
yeah, yeah.
in this spirit is really the ground of ultimate reality, right?
That's right. That is the ultimate
Yeah,
reality.
it's kind of like the Force in Star Wars, right?
Yeah, and this cosmic spirit manifests as different deities like Vishnu, Shiva, etc., etc., etc. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
So so we have this plurality of deities in Hinduism, and we have
yeah,
kind of a focus that a devotee would take. And then behind all of that is this ultimate reality. What are some of the other beliefs with respect to Hinduism?
yeah. Exactly. That was a nice segue to the next point.
Okay.
Uh, we are going from this plurality of deities to a unity,
Hmm.
and that unity is Brahman. And everything, the entire creation, the universe, and all life is unity in
Yeah.
Hinduism. We all are part of Brahman,
Yeah.
our inner self or the soul, which is known as Atman. It is essentially Brahman.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yes. Yes.
Our Atman is essentially made up of the same stuff, or we are essentially Brahman,
Yeah.
and we all are small Brahmins here and there, while the ultimate reality of Brahman exists in a transcendent level.
Yeah. I've heard it stated before that Atman is Brahman. So the individual
Yeah, that
soul is actually that part of our problem, and correct me if I'm wrong, but part of our problem as human beings is that we don't realize that we are one with this ultimate reality, and
that's absolutely correct.
so
Yeah,
our own individual identity or all of these distinctions, we need to learn to not see them and
yeah.
and just recognize that all is one. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And in Hinduism, what we perceive as our individuality is a quasi illusion. It's
Hmm.
an apparent illusion. We don't really exist as individuals. Rather, we are part of this bigger Brahman, this
Yeah.
ultimate reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so and so it sounds to me like then the big problem in Hinduism, or the big, I guess the problem of humanity that humanity needs to resolve, is learning to look beyond appearances and to see
That's correct.
this ultimate reality, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And what do they talk about? Is the Sanskrit word, is it moksha? Is that correct? That is
Yeah,
that
that's right. We will go into that
okay?
deeper in our
All
next
right.
point.
Okay. Yeah. So share with
Yeah.
me a little bit more about some of the beliefs of Hinduism.
Yeah. Other major beliefs of Hinduism are one of the main beliefs is doctrine of samsara.
Okay.
That means our life is a cycle of birth,
Yeah.
death, and reincarnation.
Yeah.
Each rebirth is determined by karma.
Yeah.
I think you're familiar with that word, karma.
Oh
It
yeah.
is
Yeah.
law of cause and effect. Good brings good, bad causes bad.
Yeah. Let me interrupt just for a moment, because this is a question I've always had about Hinduism, that if all is one, then there is no good or bad,
Yeah.
because because everything that's happens is part of Brahman, it seems.
That's correct. There is no objective moral standard in
Yeah.
Hinduism. There
Yeah.
is no good and bad. There
Yeah.
is no evil. Everything, the external world is an illusion, or
Yeah.
the term is Maya.
Yeah. 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 And so and when I start to think about this, for me, it becomes very confusing, because if all is one, and if everything happens as part of that one great reality, then karma makes no sense, because 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 everything that I do is just an expression of that great oneness that's out there, you know.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were talking about Maya. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, as I told, the problem with humanity in Hinduism is we fail to understand that we are part of this bigger reality,
Hmm.
and we cling on to this earthly material body and this uh, other material stuffs and all the pleasures of this world,
Yeah.
and which doesn't actually matter or which doesn't have any significance in Hinduism. All that matters is our Atman,
Hmm.
and the destiny of our Atman is to merge with the bigger Brahman.
Yeah. 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 I've always been confused, in the study that I've done in Hinduism, which isn't a lot, but I've studied some of it. But I've always been confused that if Atman, the individual soul, is Brahman, and
Yeah,
the big problem is that we don't see through the illusion. It's kind of like the Matrix, right? Is that
yeah,
is that
right.
you know, and we don't see through that illusion. Then I'm
Yeah,
wondering, why does the illusion even exist? You know,
yeah, that's right.
it doesn't make sense to me
Yeah,
that if this Brahman, this ultimate reality, is in control of all reality, then why am I so confused about my identity then? But hey,
yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah, evil is an illusion, time is unreal, history is cyclical.
yeah.
So all issues are philosophically pretty incoherent.
It's, yeah. So, and
Yeah,
by the way, that's a good word, incoherent, because
yeah,
because
yeah,
it seems to me with Hinduism is that you have to abandon rational thinking and you just
yeah,
accept
that's right.
you accept kind of what you're told about Atman is Brahman and all is an illusion and that you're going to be recycling over and over and over, and you just
Yeah,
accept that.
that's a pretty good point
Hmm.
because the laws of logic, the law of non-contradiction, all these are not applicable in the bigger reality. We
Yeah.
can't apply this in that Brahman sense.
Yeah. I want to talk more about
Yeah,
that maybe in another show, but tell me a
yeah,
little bit more about some of the teachings of Hinduism.
yeah. The goal for the essential self or the Atman
Hmm.
is to attain moksha. Uh, by that I mean release from the cycle of samsara and the attainment of eternal bliss.
Yeah.
Um, there are four paths or techniques to attain this moksha.
Hmm.
Let me point that out. The
Okay.
first one is Jnana Yoga, which means we have to gain a lot of knowledge, wisdom, understanding from this sacred text,
Hmm.
and by that you can attain moksha. By that
Okay.
you can be liberated from the cycle of birth, death, and reincarnation.
Hmm.
The second would be Karma Yoga, which means our works, what we do in this world, the good works, the charity, as well as asceticism,
Hmm.
severe self discipline, and avoiding all forms of indulgence. That would help you to attain this eternal bliss,
Hmm.
to be freed from the cycle of birth, rebirth, and reincarnation. The
Yeah.
third path would be bhakti yoga. It means devotional life. You can meditate on the Hindu scriptures.
Hmm.
This meditative process is enjoined with all these parts. All these parts I mentioned are enjoined with this meditative process. It's at the core of all these parts. So you as an individual can merge with the one impersonal absolute through
Yeah.
this meditative process.
Yeah.
And the last path would be Raja Yoga. By that I mean the classical yoga, which we all know, the
Yeah.
physical preparing of,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
we physically prepare the body and mind to allow deep meditation and introspection so
Hmm.
as to overcome suffering caused by these material attachments. That is the classical yoga we know.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And by the way, you are free to choose any of these paths. You don't have to follow all these four paths. You are free to choose any of these.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I know that we had a whole nother segment that we wanted to talk about how Hinduism compares with Christianity, but I think that
yeah,
we're going to just save that for next time because
yeah,
because so much of what you shared here today is just good for us to think about. And in our
yeah.
next visit, I would like to maybe compare and contrast Hinduism with Christianity. Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be fine, and I think that would be very vital to our entire conversation.
Yeah. So let's just go
Yeah,
ahead and we'll stop there for now. Any final thoughts that you'd like to share with us before we move on, before I wrap this up?
yeah, sure. It was a joy to be with you in this broadcast.
Yeah.
And generally, Westerners are often confused about these Eastern religious thoughts, and Christianity and Hinduism are miles apart.
Yeah.
And it's very critical that we study critically these worldviews so that we can address the issues those worldviews raise very logically and coherently. So it's
Hmm.
important to look at these worldviews, and it's important to find the uniqueness that Christianity has to offer, the unique forgiveness that Christ has to offer, and
Yeah.
that you won't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's vital that the Westerners look into these important issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That was a good talk.
Great, great, great. Well, I appreciate you coming to us all the way from Salem, India today, or actually tonight, where you're at.
Yeah,
But and I'm thankful for your perspective because instead of just hearing it from a Westerner, is that we're hearing it from someone who has grown up in this environment. And so I look
yeah,
forward to our next visit. You know, I love what
yeah,
Alan said there about the idea of critically looking at these religious claims, because instead of just kind of jumping on the bus and riding it all the way to wherever it's going to take us, is that we need to think critically about claims that people are making about reality and the nature of reality. And so we're going to explore that further in this series of talks with respect to Hinduism and Christianity. I'm Kerry Decker. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.